Hey everybody, welcome once again to Manga Mondays, the only manga review show that may legitimately be having a negative impact on the life of its host by fueling an addictive negative habit. I recently stopped smoking cigarettes and stopped drinking caffeine, and I think that I may have traded those in for a shopping addiction. I can't stop buying manga. I just went out the other day and bought like 7 or 8 books, spent like $100 in one sitting, and one of the things I bought is a manga called There's a Demon Lord on the Floor. And I have no idea why I bought this, because I could tell from the cover that it was going to be stupid. It looks like a dumb, generic comedy. And I flipped through it, and I thought, well, I mean, it looks like a dumb, generic comedy. But I think what sold me on it is that it looks really high energy. There's just lots of smiles and fun and expressions. And I thought, well, this looks like a fun time. It's got like a little blonde lolly girl on it, which is, my thing. So I bought it just on a whim amongst all this other shit I bought. And the thing about this, look, this is not a bad manga. There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just that it is the most thoroughly generic thing I've ever read. There is not a single image in this that I have not seen in 1,000 other manga before. And what was incredibly frustrating to me as I read this is that I feel like there's one other manga that's exactly the same thing as this, or one anime, because it feels very anime. The way the pacing and everything of images is, like, this feels like every comedy anime I've ever seen. But I couldn't shake the feeling that there's one that's exactly the same as this, but I can't figure out what it is, because it also reminds me of everything else. I mean, first of all, the setting is literally the same setting as Working. It's another family restaurant based show where, everyone works at this restaurant. But it's also the exact same premise as Hataraki Mao-sama, because this girl is the Demon Lord, the generic Demon Lord who is a character in literally everything now. There's been so many interpretations of the Demon Lord, it's fucking ridiculous. And because the demons lost the battle against, was it to humans, I guess? The earth was ruled by demons, and then the Clan of Light took the surface from the demons. So, in light of the demons having lost the war, for whatever reason, the Demon Lord is living under the floor of this family restaurant, and so she gets a job there. She's just an airhead lolly. She's just a really high energy airhead lolly. The fact that she's the Demon Lord is virtually inconsequential. The only real thing that matters about it is that when she has a full belly, she transforms into a sexy adult form. Let me find it. Here we go. Yeah, she transforms into full Demon Lord mode when she is full. And then when she gets hungry, she transforms back into a lolly. She also summons this familiar who's like a mushroom girl. She can also grow big and has giant tits when she grows big, but ordinarily she's just a little mushroom girl who literally has no personality. She's just like a background character who she's just there. She just gets summoned at the start and is just around. Barely even speaks through most of the manga. So, yeah, I mean, it's Hataraku Mao-sama, it's Working, it's also basically just like Yusha ni Naranakata, what was it, Yushibu? That's the short version. I'm not going to try to remember the full name of that fucking show, which is an alright show, but this is the same thing. And then it's also the same as, like, it's got a little bit of Monster Musume. The style of humor is probably closer to Monster Musume, and like the way that it's written and paced, maybe a little bit of To Love Ru or something like that. Like it's just along the lines of all of those. Like, it's basically the same thing as all of them at once. And it's so baffling because it's like, again, there's not a single image in this whole manga that I haven't seen before. Every single thing, every joke, every expression, every page turn is all familiar to me. And it's so bizarre because, again, it's not badly done. Like, it's not generic by way of, like, like being incompetent. It's really competent. All of the girls are cute. The artwork looks good. The pacing of panels is really good. The jokes all land. It's just that none of them are original. Not a single one. There is no moment in here I haven't seen at least 5 times in the past. It's surreal. It was like breaking my mind to fucking read this and have this realization. So if you've seen a lot of comedy anime, you do not have to read this. You've read it. You have read this. Like, regardless of what skin it has on it. And if you really love that genre, those kinds of high energy, fun little comedy shows, then this is a passable inclusion. I'm sure this will get adapted to anime one day. It'll feel exactly the same as the manga. It'll be a 1-to-1 translation because it already feels like anime in the way that it's paced and everything. It's got some cute girls. It's got some fan service. It's completely vapid. Like, of the main characters, there's the Demon Lord, whose thing is just that she's high energy. She's just a high energy lolly. She eats and she grows big and she's powerful. The Mushroom Girl, literally nothing. No personality. There's the main character guy, who I can't even really say he's the main character. He just is the guy who is just there to be the straight man to everything else that's happening. There is nothing else to him. He has no personality. He's just a straight man. And it's weird because there's so little focus on him that, like, you could forget he exists entirely. Like, he's just there so that when someone does something dumb, he can react to it and be oh, I gotta put up with this. Like, that's his whole personality, is a facepalm, you know? Like, that's all he does is facepalm. There's the other girl who works at the restaurant with him, the other normal girl who works there before all these weirdos show up. And she's, like, a short girl with really big tits, kind of like Poplar, but, like, her personality is kind of confusing because she's just kind of, like, she gets excited about stuff really easily, like, almost sexually, like, she gets, like, aroused easily is what it seems like her deal is, but she doesn't really have any set personality. She's just kind of there. Almost everyone in this is really high energy and Genki. Like, there is no, like, even the girl whose thing is that she's shy, she's, like, a knight who works for the Demon Lord, and, like, she's shy about being seen outside of armor, but, like, her personality is still really high energy and kind of hyper. And then at the very end, they introduce a Shrine Maiden character who's also high energy and hyper. Like, that's just everyone. This whole thing is just, like, constantly blaring on full blast at all times. So I guess that's it's almost endearing because of that there is no, like, boring character. They're all, like, just, like, other than the guy, they're all just, like, blaring it on 100%. They're all fucking loud, insane people jumping around, hugging, being crazy, getting all over everything. But, like, aside from that, there's some cute expressions. Look at that face, but it's just so redundant. It hurts me. It hurts to read it, just looking at it and having that weird feeling of, like, I can't say it's bad. There's nothing, like, if this was the first one of these you'd ever read, if you've never read this kind of comedy before, it might be really endearing. Like, you might actually enjoy it's well paced, the jokes land, they're just all generic. So yeah, I can't recommend this to anyone who's ever read a comedy manga before, or read a lot of these. Like, if what I've shown you looks, like, cute and looks like your kind of thing, I mean, if you're the kind of person who would enjoy this, you can probably tell by the images alone. Like, you can just look at this and you can tell if this is your kind of thing. If you look at this and you think, that looks cute, but I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff like it, and I think I know what to expect, you are correct. This is exactly what you think it's going to be. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be when I looked at the cover and when I flipped through a few pages, and I thought, well, it's high energy. I'll give it a shot. And I read it and I was like, oh, yeah, it's what I expected. There's nothing new here. So yeah, a belated recommendation to the few people who have somehow not already read this or aren't sick of it yet. Personally, I'm just a little too sick of it. I definitely would not buy another volume of this, even though I don't think it's bad. Is that girl supposed to be white-haired? I never realized. Yeah. All right.